Starting a business is generally a great idea, but before you can start a business, you need to know what is that business going to be. What are you going to sell to, and who are you going to sell it to? So in this video, that's what we're going to be exploring. Hi, my name's Dan Edwards, and I'm making this video as part of a series on how to start and grow businesses. I've been working for myself in business now since 2017. I provide services to other businesses, such as marketing and content creation, to help other businesses to start and grow. So it's a real passion of mine, and I want to take that knowledge that I've learned and hopefully pass it on to someone else in the hopes that it's going to be useful to someone. To start with, let's just have a bit of a conversation about choosing the right business, because there's so many different kinds of businesses that you could do, but choosing the right one is kind of important, because what I mean by that is it's what's right for you. Because you could start anything, you could sell just about anything as long as you can find someone who is going to buy it. I mean, people sell farts in jars, so you know the opportunity is out there to make money selling just about anything. But it's not just about starting, it's also about sustaining. Like, where do you want to go with that business? Once you start something, you've got to go all in. Otherwise, what's the point in getting started? You know, if you're going to do something, do it right. So the first thing I want to walk you through is what is going to be right for you as a person who's going to be running this business. And then later on, we'll go into a few ways that you can research opportunity in the market to actually have a look at whether or not there is opportunity there, if anyone else is doing it, whether or not it's going to be worth it. But to start with, let's dig deep into who are you and what are you good at? What are you passionate about? What might be a good opportunity that aligns with who you are as a person? So the first thing I'm going to suggest that you do is write 2 lists. This is something that I've done in the past. This is something that I continue to do today, or at least just reflect on, go back over notes that I made years ago to remind myself why I got started, to remind myself what I'm good at, what the reason for getting started was. And on these 2 lists, what I want you to do is I want you to start with one list of things that you are good at, your skills, and at the other side, I want you to do a list of things that you are interested in or passionate about. It doesn't necessarily need to be something that you are particularly knowledgeable about, but it's got to be something that in some way fuels you, some way you are interested in pursuing or knowing more about, a passion, a hobby, whatever it is. Here's a quick look at a list I've done of myself. So my skill sets included things like creativity. Pretty much everything was centered around creativity, especially when I started. Now I have a skill set in marketing as well, because I needed that to be able to help me sell my own stuff, but then that was also a service that evolved from me just seeing a need in the market based on the things I was selling and the things that were important to go along with what I was selling. On my second list, my passions were mostly related to what my skill sets were also. So film, TV, I was really passionate about film and TV, which is why I got into playing with cameras when I was young. I was interested in business before I got into business, and then the rest of it are things that are just related to more travel and like hobbies and outdoor activities, for example. But the point of making these 2 lists is because somewhere on those 2 lists, there's going to be skill meets passion, and then there's opportunity. Somewhere in that crossover there is opportunity. Take some time to reflect on that list, go through it, research things around the things that overlap, the skill sets, the passions. Look for opportunity. That is the purpose of doing this list. But it's also just helpful to make note of things that you're interested in anyway, things that you're good at. Documenting yourself helps you to understand yourself. The better you understand yourself, the better you're going to understand what you're good at, where you need to improve, and how you can push yourself forward. Because that really is crucial for approaching any kind of goal, any kind of pursuit of anything. It really helps if you understand yourself, your own limitations, and understand that you have to learn, you have to improve in order to get there. Now that we've taken some time to look inwards, it's time to look outwards. You're at a huge advantage by watching this video at this time, because AI is a huge thing now. You can literally jump onto any one of them. So I'm just going to jump on Gemini right now. That's the one made by Google, completely free. Does pretty much all the same things as ChatGPT, but it's free. What you can do is drop your list, both lists, into any kind of the chatbots. Again, I'm just using one as an example. Drop it in there, give it a clear instruction that I want to try and start a business. I'm trying to look for an opportunity. Help me by listing opportunity that relates my skill set with things I'm interested in. And ChatGPT or any one of these chatbots, it's going to throw out all sorts of ideas for you. The more specific you are with the chatbot, the more specific the answer. Speak to it like a person, give it as much information as you would need yourself in order to complete a task, and you're just going to get better answers. But assuming it's giving you some ideas of different business opportunities that are out there, typically all of those are going to be related to things that already exist in the market, which is fine, because you don't need to try and reinvent the wheel. You don't need to try and do something completely brand new. You just need to see an opportunity in the market, and maybe it's just about doing something better than what other people are currently doing. Provide a better service, strive to be better. That's why there's competition in the market, and that's not a bad thing, because there's plenty of saturated markets where people are still making profit from it regardless of how much competition there is, because you're never going to sell to everyone in that market. You can take a small piece of that pie and still make a good living. Another tool which is fantastic, and it's related to AI again, is Perplexity AI. If you've not tried this before, my opinion, it's probably where search engines are going to be. If I go into Perplexity now, and if I type in, let's say, businesses related to, I'll say videography, just because we're still on me. So businesses relate to videography, and what has this thrown up for me? Corporate video production, wedding videography, real estate videography, event videography, educational video series, music, short films, promotional video. The list goes on. This is the point. This is where this research comes from, because I've just put in a service which I know is out there and people are doing, and I do myself, but it's just giving me a whole load of ideas that I might not have even considered. So let's just come up with one more example of this. Something completely unrelated to me. Businesses related to, I'm going to pick a product this time, businesses related to clothing. Clothing's a pretty good niche or business to go into. There's different branches. So online customized printing, vintage and upcycling, plus size fashion, sustainable fashion, clothing, rental, aesthetic and active wear. So again, the list goes on. From that one idea that you've got, that one skill set which you know you're good at, that maybe relates to a passion, you can then just throw that into these chatbots now, and it's going to list all of these ideas. Another thing I'm going to suggest is Google Trends. So if you go on Google Trends, again, another free service, you can put into Google Trends any topic, anything that people might be searching online, such as, let's go with clothing again. And the point of doing this one is it's not really too important to get started, but it's going to give you an idea of, is there a demand for this? Is there a search? So this is particularly useful for, let's say you were going to do drop shipping, you were just going to sell a product and you weren't really too interested in just like building out a brand, and you just wanted to sell an individual thing. You could do that with anything. But the point is finding opportunity in the market. Be open to see where there is opportunity and learn and see what you can do with it. The cost for entry with certain things might not be applicable for you. So in some cases, if you're selling a product, you have to have money to buy stock. But with a service base, you can get started with really no money at all. You probably already have everything you need to get started, and really all you have to do is just sell it one time, and then you can sell it again, and get better each time. So service base is a really good way to get started because it teaches you a lot, but it's also a much lower upfront cost if you're just selling yourself as a service provider. Hopefully that gives you an idea of the basics of getting started with finding the right business model. There's definitely more you can do to it, but Beyond this, I'm just going to be walking you through like research, and the only way to go further than this is just go specific into a specific business model, which isn't really going to be useful necessarily for you, because I can only talk about things that maybe I'd be interested in. But these are just a few tricks on what to do. Just identify an opportunity, make sure ideally it's something that you're passionate about in some way, because you don't want to do something that you know you're going to get bored with, like selling toilet paper. That can't be fun forever, right? So what you want to do from here, now you want to start just digging deep. Start researching as much as you can, obsessively start learning about it, make note of things, save links, ideally put it into a Google Drive. Another thing I would recommend, Notion, another free tool. There's paid plans for it, but Notion is another fantastic tool which you can link your Google Drives to, but it's a great way for just placing your research, going through, reminding yourself of things that you need to go back and do. But the first part really is like a deep dive into what are the things you have to do, and then start implementing those things that you've identified that you need to do. Start taking the steps that you need to, because there are going to be steps you've got to take before you can actually start doing business. So it's really important that you first research this, identify the steps that you need to take, start working towards them, hold yourself accountable, discipline yourself to make sure that you are meeting the targets you have set for yourself, because that's going to be number one thing. Working for yourself, you've got to make sure that you show up for yourself in the same way that you would a boss, a friend, a colleague, just someone that you respect. If you've agreed to do something for someone, you don't want to let them down, don't let yourself down. There's one more thing I want to cover in this video before we conclude, and that's niche. A lot of people, I myself included, when I first got into business, I was young, I was 18 when I got into taking those first baby steps, and I was doing photography, video, and I thought to myself, anyone would want to buy this from me. I could work with anyone. I could work with any business. It's not true. Even if it were true, you're not going to work with everyone. This is a really important thing that you need to be aware of now, because it's going to really help you when you start to really push on the sales of what it is that you're trying to pursue. And so niche is simply the group of people who are actually going to purchase it, because you're not going to sell to everyone. Even if you could sell to everyone, you're just not going to. It's just a small piece of the pie that you're going to be able to tap into, because you can't service everyone, and people aren't going to, not everyone who is interested in the same product or service is necessarily going to work with you. You've got to be really good to have everyone come to you. The more you understand who is going to purchase from you, the better you're going to understand where to put that promotional material, what platform to put it on, what radio station, what place on the internet can you put your messaging to attract the right audience, because you've got to put your message, your value in front of the right people at the right time. So once you've sold to the first person, you're going to start to then understand why they purchase from you, why they might repeat purchase, and where are their interests, and where can you be placing that kind of promotional material. Because once you've sold to someone once, you can then just do it again. Like, just repeat the process, get better at it, start figuring out where more of those same people are, or other branches of that niche, and then start pushing more and more of that promotion, that value out to the right people. A really crucial part of planning a business is who are you going to sell it to, why are they going to buy it, when are they going to buy it, where are they going to buy it from, all of these questions related to what we call a customer avatar, a customer persona. So that's something which you've got an idea and you've used these AI bots, or even if you're not using the AI bots, I would advise using the AI bots because it's a really big cheat code. Anyway, you put all of that in. You can also then start to ask this chatbot, who are these people? Where can I sell to them? Dig in deep on what kind of person is going to purchase from you once, maybe again, and where are more people like that? Because then that's part of the marketing strategy, which I'll cover later on in later videos. If you're still watching this video, we've come to the end. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I hope it's been useful. It's the whole point of me making this. But the point is, in summary of this video, is picking the right thing for you is really important, because it's about having something that you can actively pursue. It's something that when things get hard and you're not enjoying it anymore, it's that passion that got you started. It's that passion that's going to keep you going. So if you're picking something that you're interested in, It's just going to give you a better footing and more resilience to be able to keep pushing through those difficult times. And it's going to give you that obsession to want to know more, to want to get better at these things. So it's really important to just persist with it, because it takes time to grow these things. It's not going to happen overnight. You might be inspired to get into it originally because you've seen people who are like overnight successes. It's not really a thing. And if you start to scratch the surface on things that you might deem as overnight successes, you'll start to see that actually there's a whole story behind that of failures. Failure is an important part of doing anything, because it's not about the fail, it's about the lesson learned in attempting something. I'm going to leave you with this one thought. It is better to fail than to not try, because failure feels better than regret. So get out there and try.